Third-degree AV block is also known as complete heart block. This is not just another abnormal rhythm that you memorize for exams. This is the moment when the heart's electrical system stops functioning as a coordinated unit. In third-degree AV block, the AV node does not slow conduction. It does not intermittently block impulses. It fails completely. Every single electrical impulse generated in the atria dies at the AV node and never reaches the ventricles. Under normal conditions, the heart operates with perfect timing. The sinoatrial node fires first. The atria depolarize and contract. The AV node briefly delays the signal. The impulse then travels to the ventricles. The ventricles contract in a powerful, coordinated way. This sequence is what allows the heart to pump blood efficiently. The AV node is the bridge between the atria and the ventricles, and in complete heart block, that bridge is destroyed. When this happens, the ECG reveals a dramatic and unmistakable pattern called complete atrioventricular dissociation. This phrase is not just terminology, it describes exactly what is happening inside the heart. The atria and ventricles are no longer working together. They are functioning as two separate electrical systems inside the same chest. The sinoatrial node has no idea that conduction has failed, so it continues firing at a steady, regular rate. On the ECG, you will clearly see a well-formed P waves, even spacing between them, a rhythm that looks surprisingly normal at first glance. You can take a ruler, calipers, or your finger and march the P waves across the entire rhythm strip. They are regular, predictable, uninterrupted. This is classic sinus node behavior. But here's the crucial point. None of these P waves are followed by ventricular activation. Each P wave reaches the AV node, and each one stops there. No matter how strong or how perfectly timed the atrial impulse is, it cannot cross. There is no conduction, no occasional breakthrough, no relationship between atrial activity and ventricular contraction. This absolute failure is what defines third-degree AV block. And now, the ventricles are completely on their own. Without signals from the atria, the ventricles cannot depend on the normal conduction system. So the heart activates its emergency backup system. This is known as an escape rhythm. Escape rhythms are not designed for efficiency. They are designed for survival. When atrial impulses fail to reach the ventricles, an electrical focus lower in the conduction system takes over. This focus can arise from the junction, near the AV node called junctional escape, or deeper within the ventricles called ventricular escape. In a junctional escape rhythm, electrical impulses originate near the AV junction. Ventricular activation follows a relatively normal pathway. As a result, the heart rate is usually 40 to 60 beats per minute. The QRS complexes are narrow. Ventricular contraction is more organized than in ventricular escape rhythms. This may look deceptively reassuring, but don't be fooled. Because on the ECG, P waves continue marching forward at a steady rate. QRS complexes also occur at regular intervals. But when you examine their relationship closely, there is none. Sometimes a P wave appears just before a QRS. Sometimes it appears after. Sometimes it falls directly within the QRS complex. This timing is pure coincidence. The atria are not triggering the ventricles anymore. This is the idea that defines third-degree AV block. The atria have their own rhythm, the ventricles have their own rhythm, and they do not communicate. This is complete AV dissociation. Two independent pacemakers, one failing conduction system. Even with a junctional escape rhythm, the heart is operating on borrowed time. Cardiac output is reduced, blood pressure may drop. Symptoms may begin to appear, especially with exertion. And if this junctional pacemaker fails, the situation becomes far more dangerous. So now we move further down the conduction system, to the heart's last line of defense. Because if the junction fails, the ventricles must save themselves. When no impulses arrive from above, and no reliable junctional pacemaker takes over, the ventricles activate their own intrinsic pacemaker cells. This creates a ventricular escape rhythm. This rhythm is not elegant. It is not efficient. It is simply the heart refusing to stop. Electrical impulses now arise from deep within the ventricular myocardium itself. And the consequences are profound. because ventricular tissue conducts electrical impulses much more slowly than the specialized conduction system. Everything about the rhythm changes. On the ECG, you will see a very slow ventricular rate, typically 20 to 40 beats per minute. Wide, bizarre-looking QRS complexes. Poor synchronization of ventricular contraction. This rhythm may look organized on paper, but mechanically, it is extremely weak. Normally, impulses race through the His-Purkinje system, producing narrow QRS complexes. But in a ventricular escape rhythm, the impulse spreads cell to cell through ventricular muscle. Conduction is slow, depolarization is disorganized. The result is a wide QRS complex, signaling inefficient contraction and reduced cardiac output. This is the ECG's way of warning you. The heart is struggling. Just like before, the P waves continue at their own regular rate. The QRS complexes also remain regular. You can march out both rhythms independently across the strip. But once again, and this cannot be overstated, there is absolutely no relationship between them. The atria and ventricles are still acting independently. In third-degree AV block, the PR interval becomes meaningless. Why? Because P waves do not conduct to the ventricles. QRS complexes are not triggered by atrial activity. Anytime a P wave happens to appear before a QRS complex, it is coincidence, not conduction. That's why the PR interval appears random, changes from beat to beat, has no diagnostic value except to show dissociation. This randomness is a hallmark of complete heart block. Now let's talk about the clinical reality of complete heart block. With ventricular rates as low as 20 to 40 beats per minute, the heart simply cannot maintain adequate perfusion. Patients may develop severe fatigue and weakness, lightheadedness or dizziness, confusion due to reduced cerebral blood flow, hypotension, syncope, classically known as Stokes-Adams attacks. The heart is beating, but it is failing to meet the body's demands. Escape rhythms are unpredictable. They can slow further, become unstable, or fail altogether without warning. That's why third-degree AV block is never something to watch and wait. The definitive treatment for third-degree AV block is pacing. In unstable patients, temporary pacing may be initiated immediately, but for long-term survival, most patients require a permanent pacemaker. A pacemaker does not just increase the heart rate, it restores proper timing, electrical coordination, and effective ventricular contraction. In other words, it gives the heart back its rhythm. Let's lock in the complete ECG pattern one final time. 1. P waves present and regular. 2. QRS complexes present and regular. 3. No consistent PR interval. 4. No fixed relationship between P waves and QRS complexes. 5. Atrial and ventricular rhythms functioning independently. Whether the escape rhythm is junctional or ventricular, this pattern defines third-degree AV block. 2 rhythms, 1 heart, no communication, that is third-degree AV block. And once you understand it, you will never miss it on an ECG again. If you found this explanation helpful, make sure to like the video and leave a comment below. We read your feedback closely, and it directly influences future content. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.